What is going on, guys? It is WrestleMania here, back with some more news. Join us now as we look at the wildest news stories and rumors you need to know, including a top WWE superstar suffers an injury, Brock Lesnar's WWE retirement plans, when is LA Knight returning, the Hardy Boys not going back to WWE, another wrestling personality refuses to work with WWE due to Donald Trump, Mercedes Moné loses another title, and much more. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for daily wrestling videos and follow us on Facebook for exclusive lists. Also, we have this dropping on December 25th, so be sure to tune in. Now let's hit the intro and get straight into our first story. Our first story looks at a top WWE superstar suffers an injury. Now, top of today's news is a troubling report following last night's AAA show, as it appears that Dominic Mysterio injured his shoulder. Dirty Dom teamed with El Grande Americano at AAA's Guerra de Titan event, taking on Rey Mysterio and Rey Fenix. A Wrestling Observer's Figure 4 Online's Brian Alvarez is reporting Dom injured his shoulder taking the DDT from his dad near the end of tonight's main event. Based on how he landed, my presumption is likely a shoulder separation, which depending on the severity could be a short-term injury or worst case scenario surgery. But we won't know anything until he gets evaluated. He could barely use the arm at all. And Mysterio's injury comes at a time when he's currently a double champion, that being the Intercontinental Champion and the AAA Mega Champion. This as well as Raw's hottest heel right now. Now we're sending our best to Dirty Dom and hope that he isn't out of action for long. Next up, Brock Lesnar's retirement plans. Is Brock Lesnar looking to retire next year? Well, there was a report concerning the Beast Incarnate from the Wrestling Observer newsletter saying there's a story going around that Lesnar will retire at SummerSlam 2026. I can't confirm that date, but did at least a month ago hear that the working plans for 2026 would be the WWE retirement runs for Lesnar, Styles, and potentially Jericho if he signs. Jericho hasn't appeared on AEW TV in months, and while AEW President Tony Khan has said that he'd love for Jericho to stay in AEW, some fans believe that Chris will close out his wrestling run in AEW. As for Brock Lesnar, I didn't get the impression it was locked in except for Styles, who made it clear that it will be in 2026, but not when. But the Lesnar name has been talked about, which is probably where the story came from. 2026 is shaping up to be a big year for 2 and possibly 3 WWE superstars in terms of their retirements. Who do you think should end Brock Lesnar's career at SummerSlam if he's retiring? Next up, when LA Knight is returning. Now it's time for an update on LA Knight, a talent who's a clear favourite with the WWE Universe but just can't catch a break from WWE Creative. When we last saw him, LA Knight was on the receiving end of a brutal beatdown from the Vision. Now Fightful Select Sean Ross Sapp is giving the latest on when fans might expect the former US champion back, and it's not good news. Man, I just don't get this. He was booked to go to the finals of the John Cena tournament and beat Jey Uso along the way. I can't speak to his future outside of him having years left on his contract, but I don't see it as a burial. Not everyone can be world champion at the same time. I think this is the type of reaction WWE wants to conjure up, and I've been saying that since August. He's off until 2026 at least. Now, while there have been rumors that WWE has big things planned for Knight in 2026, some WWE fans are skeptical, as LA Knight has had the rug pulled out from him during various times when WWE had the opportunity to elevate him, such as at the Money in the Bank PLE, as he was clearly a firm favourite going in. What do you guys think is next for LA Knight, and do you think WWE is burying him? Next up, the Hardy Boys not going back to WWE. Now it seems that Matt and Jeff Hardy are staying in TNA Wrestling. Over the last year, the Hardys have played a major role in TNA's tag division, creating some instant classics with new opponents and legendary rivals such as the Dudleys. Are they looking to work elsewhere? And not according to Fightful Select, which reports it believed a new deal with TNA is imminent. Sources inform them that the 51-year-old Matt Hardy and 48-year-old Jeff Hardy have not officially signed new contracts with TNA. However, they noted that a deal is expected to be done very soon with a potential long-term agreement. And despite their age and a style that can only be described as brutal on their bodies, Matt and Jeff have showed no sign of walking away from the ring. It'll be interesting to see if they stay in TNA, as a run in WWE has repeatedly come up as a possible way to close out their careers. Would you guys like to see the Hardy Boys end their career in WWE instead? Next up, WWE pushing Trick Williams as a free agent. Now, there's some interesting developments concerning NXT superstar Trick Williams and his future on the main roster. You may recall previous reports that Williams appeared backstage during a recent SmackDown taping, and Williams was believed to be assigned to the Blue brand. However, like many stories in wrestling, there could be a new twist, as PW Insider is reporting former WWE, NXT, and TNA champion Trick Williams will debut on SmackDown on 26 December, with the storyline being he's a free agent looking to sign with the brand. We're told that Williams has not been officially listed internally on the brand yet, so he could appear on Raw in the upcoming weeks as well, but he will be moving to the main roster in 2026. But with any luck, Williams won't have to go through the ordeal many recently elevated NXT superstars have experienced, that being months of inconsistent booking before WWE either finds a spot for them or releases them. Carmelo Hayes is a prime example, as he spent months stuck in a pointless feud with The Miz. Next up, another wrestling personality refuses to work with WWE due to their ties with Donald Trump. Now, it seems that Jim Cornette turned down a chance to appear on A&E's biography series for the profile about WWE superstar Kane. Cornette recently opened up with fans during an episode of his Jim Cornette Experience podcast, explaining that he was approached a few years back about the appearance but turned the offer down. "If you'd have called me 5 years ago, I would have been happy to be a part of it, but he's now standing there with his arm around Donald Trump, and I'm ashamed of him. I don't want to be involved." Cornette's views on politics are arguably as well known as his views on wrestling, so this situation isn't a shocker for anyone who's followed his career. Interestingly, the person Cornette spoke with at A&E took everything in stride. According to Cornette, the unnamed person I was speaking to said, "Well, I appreciate your honesty and your position. It wasn't specifically about him, about Glenn, but they appreciated that, and hopefully more people would have had some goddamn principle." While WWE has had close ties with US President Donald Trump, the company has drawn even closer to him during his second term, with some critics blasting wrestlers for their apparent support for him. However, Cornette doesn't seem to believe everyone working in WWE is on board. Not everyone in the company is nuts, but they're scared to admit it if they aren't. A controversy has never escaped Jim Cornette during his career, whether it was a wrestling promoter, booker, or announcer, and this latest story concerning Cornette suggests that it's not going to end as long as Cornette is breathing. Next up, Omos joins a wrestling faction. That's bad news for anyone looking to oppose AAA's El Ojo faction, as Inside the Ropes reported, at AAA Guerra de Titans 2025 Omos made an appearance during the match between El Hijo del Vikingo and Dragon Lee, shocking both the latter stars. The Nigerian prince proceeded to lay out the Raw star with the last ride, allowing Vikingo to pick up the win. Post-match, it was made clear that Omos had joined hands with Vikingo and Dorian Roland to become a part of El Ojo. Omos is the latest example of an underutilized WWE star who's been placed on the AAA roster, and Omos' addition will likely have his fans wondering if it's a prelude to a WWE return. Next up was AEW booked for Madison Square Garden debut. Did AEW have a chance to debut Dynamite at Madison Square Garden? AEW President Tony Khan recently spoke with fans at an AEW Dynamite taping, revealing that the promotion was approached about airing Dynamite's premiere at the Mecca of Professional Wrestling. They called me and said, "Do you want to do the first episode of Dynamite here?" And I said, "Yeah, I really would. It would be great." Then they called me up a couple of months later and they said, "We don't want you anymore. We don't want you to do the first Dynamite here anymore, because it would really upset somebody." Khan's account makes sense, as it's well known that Madison Square Garden officials, who once hosted WWE events monthly, were getting tired of the infrequency of WWE events at the Garden and would have likely enjoyed bringing wrestling back. Since then, WWE has booked more shows at the Garden, and while we may never know the true details, it will be interesting to learn if MSG's officials offer to Khan was a means to get WWE's attention or just a genuine offer. Next up, Mercedes Moné loses another title. It's time for more bad news concerning Mercedes Moné, as the AEW star only has 10 wrestling championships now following her loss to Alex Windsor at the promotion's AEW Collision Holiday Bash Part 2. According to WrestleTalk, Moné dropped the Rev Pro Undisputed British Women's Championship to Windsor at the event, saying, "The latest title loss comes 2 weeks after Moné lost the Ring of Honor Women's World Television Championship to Red Velvet at Ring of Honor Final Battle," meaning Moné now holds 10 championships, including AEW's Owen Hart Foundation title. How many belts do you think Moné is going to have at the end of 2026? Next up, Jim Ross and Jerry Lawler reunite. Wrestling fans attending Pittsburgh's Ultimate Stars promotion got to see the reunion of two legendary broadcasters as WWE Hall of Famers Jim Ross and Jerry the King Lawler reunited for the event. JR tweeted about the reunion saying, "It's chilly in Pittsburgh, but we're hot here until 2 p.m. Eastern Time." Ross and Lawler were the soundtrack for WWE through the 90s and part of the 21st century, and fans have always been curious whether the two might reunite in the broadcast booth. Wrestling News recently discussed developments concerning this, saying, during an interview on Busted Open Radio with Tommy Dreamer, Ross was asked about Lawler's potential appearance in AEW, possibly for a show in Memphis. Ross shared his openness to the idea but clarified that any reunion would likely be a one-time occurrence rather than a full-time return for Lawler. And finally, was that a shot at John Cena? And last but not least, there looks to be no stop to Philadelphia Eagles cornerback Cooper DeJean's WWE-related celebrations. DeJean had a huge play during last night's NFL game, scoring an interception during the Eagles' win over the Washington Commanders. NBC Sports Philadelphia's anchor John Clark tweeted a video of the celebration along with this message. Cooper DeJean did a wrestling move on Quinion Mitchell for his interception celly, and his teammates counted the 1-2-3, a tribute to John Cena? DeJean has used WWE-themed celebrations previously, but that's just the start, as rumor has it that Cooper is romantically linked with Nikki Bella. What do you guys think? Was it a shot or a tribute? Let us know in the comments down below, and I'll see you next time with some more wrestling content.